A little bit of NBA news to get into, but obviously we're mainly back because we want to play another Immaculate Grid together.
No, I think you're underestimating how serious you are. Like, I know you're joking, but like you're 50% kind of right.
Yeah, no, I'm about it because we knocked it out of the park last time.
Oh, that was the best one. I honestly, like, I'm going to start this episode by saying I don't think offhand, and I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think we're going to top that one. Even if we immaculate it, I just don't think, and it's immaculate it, say that 7 times fast. But
yeah,
no, I don't think we'll beat that. I rewatched that at least, and I usually don't rewatch every or re-listen to every podcast just because, I mean, you know, we just had the conversation. I generally remember how it went. I rewatched that at least 4 or 5 times. I loved it. It was perfect.
Yeah, it was good. So I'm excited to do that again. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit of FIBA basketball, a few transactions slash extensions that went down, and then we'll kind of debate a little bit of some questions going into next season because we are about a month out from training camp. So it kind of gets us, trying to starting to turn the page towards new season. Let's go. Let's see what we're working with here. But we start with the Immaculate Grid. And it looks not too terrible. So for the podcast listeners, we'll explain it. At the top, from the left to the right of the grid, we have the Clippers, we have OKC Thunder, and then we have 5+ assists per game in a season. And then going down the grid, we have the Miami Heat, we have the New Orleans Pelicans, and we have the Wizards at the bottom. And I am so excited. You know why?
Why?
Because we have ourselves an Elfrid Payton connection in this grid.
Oh, okay. All right. I knew you'd be looking for it.
We have it. I already know exactly where it is. You want to start with it or you want me to hold off?
I mean, that was a great ending last time, and it's New Orleans 5 assists, right?
Yeah,
is that where it is for
100%. It's got to be. There's no chance it's not Elfrid Payton on that.
Don't jinx it like that. This is the first guess. Like, I don't want to start 0 for 1. I think you're right, but
we're doing it. We're doing it. Yeah, okay, we're good.
Yeah, 0.6. Okay, nice.
Off to a roaring start.
That is a roaring start. I like getting it out there right away. I'm gonna go. There's an easy answer for 5 assists in a game per season for Washington, but I'm actually going to use them for a different purpose. Let's go right to the left, the far left. For Washington Wizards and Clippers, you could do John Wall, who was just there last season. Shorter tenure, but he was there.
Could also do Westbrook.
Could also do Westbrook as well. You're right. 1 season on the. I mean, that was.
Who's going to have the lower percentage?
Probably Westbrook. I mean, Wall was on the Wizards for a long time.
Yeah.
And I mean, that would free up Wall. Wall for 5 assists a game per season is going to have a high one no matter what. Like, I think he'll have a higher number. I mean, you could also use, why don't we do this? Why don't you use Wall?
Oh, Westbrook.
Oh, you use Westbrook for OKC. Right. And for 5 assists. Yeah, the whole thing. Oh my God.
So for what we're talking about, the whole bottom line, which would be Wizards, Clippers, Wizards, OKC, Wizards, 5 assists per game in a season, could all be Westbrook.
So a part of me is thinking use Westbrook for OKC because it's the obvious one and it will be rarer for the other two, no doubt. But I'm also sitting here and going, hey, I know John Wall's right for the Clippers, and I think 5 assists per game per season. I would think Bradley Beal works there.
Yeah.
I do know our boy Ish Smith was there, but I know Basketball Reference also wants it per season.
Yeah.
But why don't we? I guess you tell me. Where do you want to use Russ? It's one of those 3. Any of them work. I feel like the Thunder's the obvious one.
Thunder's the obvious one, but I want to do that one because, like, right off the top of my head, I can't think of many other connections that the Wizards have with OKC without us probably having to think about it for a while. Yeah, so I feel like doing Westbrook there is easy to just save us that trouble.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you in terms of
Okay.
efficiency as well, because at that point we can basically knock
Yeah.
3 out, but
So
Russ is
let's
100% a correct
yeah.
answer there.
We'll do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
67%. Okay.
67%, as you would expect.
So
I
you
think
want
it
to
would be
do
lower in the other ones.
yeah, so you want to do Wall as the Clippers connection?
I think so, because I think
Yeah.
Beal will have a lower percentage for the assists per game. I mean, John Wall was their like main point guard. Obviously, for years he was the star of that franchise, and I don't think people with Beal maybe necessarily associate him with assists as much as Wall. Like Bradley Beal plays a lot of two as well. So, but he's been a facilitator as well. Like I have no doubt that Brad, you can punch that in now and just we can wipe out
Bradley
that
Beal?
road.
You
Yeah,
want to do Beal? Okay.
I mean,
Beal.
come up with better answers, but for the sake of
Yeah.
efficiency,
Just
um,
keep it going.
yeah, we kind of talked through that one enough.
Yeah.
So just to recap, and again, watch the Immaculate Grids on YouTube. Just search Driving Dish NBA podcast, and you can watch the whole podcast there. But to recap so far, so for Clippers and Wizards, we got John Wall. For
Mhm.
Thunder and Wizards, we got Russell Westbrook. For 5 assists a game per season for the Wizards, we got Bradley Beal. And for 5 assists per game per season for the Pelicans, we got Elfrid Payton.
Yep.
So, do you have any others that jump off the page for you right away?
Actually, I mean, I feel like there's a very I feel like Wade would work for the 5 assist Heat, but I think we can do better.
My rarer guess for the Heat was going to be Mario Chalmers. A
Does he
part of
though?
me,
Does he have
yeah,
5?
he was their one. You don't think he had 5? Just dishing the ball, LeBron. I feel like he probably got 5 by accident.
But like LeBron was carrying the ball up a lot, and Wade was too. I don't know, man. I'm worried about that one. What about like Gordon Dragic? Remember he was there for a minute.
Goran Dragic definitely. I mean, I don't disagree with that one either. I think Dragic is definitely right.
I mean, Wade's the like guarantee gonna get it right answer.
I like Dragic more than Wade, as crazy as that sounds. I also low key like you might have been onto something with. I don't think LeBron's going to be a rare answer, but I think LeBron was over 5 when he was there.
You're right, LeBron. You know
he
what'd
was
be
closer to like
interesting?
7 or 8. I feel like.
You think there's no way Bosch was hitting 5 assists, right?
I'm not enough to risk the grid on it. I mean, I think he may have been at one point. I mean, look, Wade for sure is one. Like, I think that will be the most obvious answer, but you can't use him anywhere else. So if you want to use Dwayne Wade there, I'm with that.
Does Gordon Dragic work anywhere else? I don't think so either.
No, he wasn't on OKC.
And he wasn't on Clippers, right?
He was on the Clippers, yeah, and he definitely
either.
wasn't on the Pelicans. I mean, Goran and Mario are gonna be the rare ones for me, obviously.
I'm pretty confident in. I'm not that confident in Mario for some reason. I'm like kind of nervous for that one.
All right, then go with Dragic. I'm fine with going with the Dragon. Like
the Dragon,
he was there long enough, and he, like you said, he got meaningful minutes. So,
are you sure though? I'm nervous now.
No, don't be nervous. No, I feel good about this. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, we got it. That was good.
Honestly, higher than I expected a little bit.
Can we look up Mario Chalmers though?
I'm looking it up right now because I'm
nervous.
Be so mad when I'm right, or not mad, but like I know I'm pretty sure I'm right here. Like I feel confident enough to bet on it.
Dude, no.
Nice. Dude, oh my God, you were right. Wow, he had 4.9. Wow. Okay, good. You know what?
4.9 twice. Holy moly.
I am not man enough to admit when I'm wrong. You saved us, dude. You saved the grid. I would have guessed Mario Chalmers off the rarity. I really thought about that off the rip too.
That's crazy. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, I guess with Wade and LeBron, it really did cut down on the assist share, but I figured both 5 just because, like you said, he's playing point guard. So I figured again, kind of just by accident.
You think Norris Cole had it?
That was another one I thought about. I mean, he was coming off the bench for a little bit, I think. So that's where I worried. But
yeah,
I mean, again,
let me see.
Hold on. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Norris Cole, no, actually less. Never got above a 3.7%.
Yeah. I mean, he had limited minutes for the most part, so that kind of checks. All right, back
All
to the
right.
grid. So we need Clippers Heat, we need OKC Heat, we need OKC Pelicans, and we need Clippers and Pelicans.
Yes.
Um,
this is where I'm feeling a little stumped with these four.
This is definitely one of the harder ones we've done recently, for sure.
It's got to be one of the Clippers, Heat. Ooh. Oh wait, hold on. Did Boogie played for the Clippers, right? Did he ever end up with the Clippers?
I don't think he did. He was with the Lakers for a little bit.
Yeah.
He was with the Warriors for a little bit.
He definitely was on the Pelicans because
He's
remember it
definitely on
was
the
him and
Pelicans.
Anthony Davis.
Yep, and we never got to see the full.
Yeah.
That's one of the not the bigger what ifs because I don't want to give it that much credit, but like that is a genuine what if to me. They got hurt just when it felt like that pairing was starting to click a little bit.
Figure it out. Oh man, so he never ended up. Who else was another like big man on the Pelicans? Dude.
I'm trying. Oh, dude. Steven Adams for the Pelicans and the Thunder.
Oh yeah, good one. Yeah. Of course.
Yes, Steven Adams is definitely there.
Yep, good call because he was hurt last year. Yep. 43. Okay, good one. Good one.
Yeah, because he's been in Memphis too. Obviously, last year when he got hurt in the playoffs. Yeah, he was definitely there for a little bit. I had Valanciunas in my head for a second, but Valanciunas was. I'm pretty sure he wasn't on OKC. Regardless, it wouldn't apply now because I know for a fact he wasn't on the Heat.
Did So who's another? JJ Redick was on the Pelicans. Did he ever end up on the Clippers?
JJ Redick was 100% on both. Thank you, Justin. That was 100% an answer. I have no doubt about that one. That one is 100%.
I guess I should have just went JJ. Oh, he spells it with an I. There we go. 17%. Okay.
Yeah, because he was on the Clippers in Lob City.
Yeah,
obviously that was. That's probably the most notable stop of his career, other than Orlando. Maybe I guess he was on Orlando for a while. After his Sixers tenure, he went right to New Orleans.
Right. Okay.
All right. So we're gonna figure this out.
So resetting for the podcast. The last two that we have to get before we 100% this thing is the Heat Clippers player connection and the Heat Oklahoma City Thunder player connection. I feel like the Clippers one is going to be an obvious one. We're going to be like, oh damn. I feel like the Thunder one's going to be a little more sneaky.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
I'm thinking. I'm trying to run through younger guys.
Rubio. Did he ever? Well, he was never on the Heat.
No, I don't think Ricky Rubio was on the Heat
because he was on OKC for a minute.
Was he?
Yeah, I think so. Right? I'm gonna look that up.
I don't know actually.
I thought he was.
Genuinely, I have no idea.
I thought he was. Hold on, Ricky Rubio. Did he make it on the Thunder?
I'm trying to think. Like,
oh man, no, he didn't. I had that way wrong. Wow. Minnesota, Utah, Phoenix, Minnesota, Cleveland. Okay, I was wrong.
I don't think Iguodala ever got to the Clippers. I know he did 2 years, so he just was in Miami for those 2 years. Okay, I'm thinking about that. Who is another popular one for me? Honestly, that we used a bunch, or that we used last time at least, is Dwayne Dedmon. I keep thinking of Dwayne Dedmon.
Dwayne Dedmon.
Well, I mean,
like a Damari Carroll or somebody that just like bounces around a lot, right?
Yeah. I don't think Korver was there. I mean, Dedmon was definitely on Miami. I don't think he was on OKC though. And I don't think he was on the Clippers. So that is probably not helpful for our purposes. I'm trying to like run through the Clippers' great players did Corey Go ahead.
Did Oladipo's on the Heat now?
Oladipo's on the Heat now. Oh, Oladipo was on the Thunder for sure. He was in the Westbrook trade. Yeah, Oladipo was definitely on the Thunder. Yeah. No, you're definitely right. Good work, Justin.
Oh, baby.
OLI or OLA, I should say.
OLA?
Yeah, OLA.
Okay.
OLA, TIPO.
33%. Okay, we need one. We need one.
Good way to talk it through. See, that's what I mean. We just got to talk it through. We can get this last one.
Players on the Heat.
So the most notable players on the Heat, not counting the big three. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Was Mike Miller ever on the Clippers?
Mike Miller. Oh, dude. Oh no, I don't know. What? Wait, what?
I don't know.
And like Birdman, did he ever end up in
I don't
LA?
think Birdman did. Birdman, I feel like I mean I know Birdman was with Denver. I feel like he was with Indy.
Yeah.
I don't think Mike Miller got to the Clippers.
Birdman, by the way, on Denver in 2K was a beast. He could not be stopped.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that was like when the neck tats started coming in. Like, Birdman like was actually a good player. Like he wasn't just a mean player.
Oh man, dude.
I don't
know about Miller.
I don't feel confident enough to guess it just yet. I'm gonna keep talking through it for a little bit.
Oh my gosh. Like
what about
Lou Will never ended up in the Heat.
No, he didn't. And this is one of the, he was definitely on the Clippers, never ended up on the Heat. I'm trying to think, like, what about Alonzo Mourning didn't, obviously. I'm trying to think, like, what about like a Jermaine O'Neal? He wasn't on the Clippers, was he?
Jermaine O'Neal. Oh my gosh.
He was definitely on the Heat because he won a title with the Heat. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we gotta do like that or like JaVale McGee. Like all those people.
It's not McGee though. I feel confident in that it's not McGee.
No, but like a player that's like that, right? Like has been all over.
Wait a minute, Justin. I think I have it. And it's somebody that's bounced around. He's been on a lot of teams already. Oh, wait a minute. No, you know what? Because he played with Jimmy in Philly. Never mind. I thought it was Landry Shamet because I remember a press conference with Jimmy bigging him up.
Yeah.
And I know he's been on the Clippers. Obviously, he was on the Clippers for a little bit. All right. I'm going to put this because we're 16 minutes into recording this. So I like to try to keep it around 18.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to count us, but we have to come up with a guess no matter what. And I don't like Mike Miller and I don't like Jermaine O'Neal as long as they were in the league. I mean, my always default bailout guess is going to be Ish Smith, but I don't think Ish Smith was on either of these teams for all the teams that he's been on.
Oh man, like Ish Smith. Who else? Played Gordon Dragic.
I mean, just start naming Heat players. Like
that's what I mean. I'm going back. Bosh.
Brian. Gary Payton wasn't.
We literally saw a bunch of young Heat players at Summer League, didn't we? Who played? Was it like Luke?
Yeah, but that's the problem. They're all young and they only played on the Heat. Like we saw Bam, but he's never left the Heat.
Oh, it was like but it was like Luke Kennard, Justice Winslow. Who was the Monk? Malik Monk. Like we saw all those guys. Did they ever?
No, we did. Monk was never on the Heat.
He was on the Hornets.
I think.
Winslow was on the Heat.
Kennard's on the.
Kennard was on the Clippers. So those two.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. Is it Justice Winslow? Wow, you might have just pulled it out. I hang on. I gotta think. I'm just running through a couple others right now.
Justice Winslow. Is he in the league still though?
I don't think it matters. I mean, I know he was drafted by Miami.
Well, that's what I mean. Is I know he played for Miami. He was in the summer league that we saw, but I don't know if he made it to the Clippers.
He bounced a lot. Where was his first trade to after? Why do I feel like it was the Clippers, Justin?
Dude, I didn't even know he got traded. I thought he was still on the Heat.
I'm telling you, I think you just talked me into it. I think it's just, I don't have anyone better. And I'm trying to go through players in my head, but I also don't want this to drag on for another minute and 10 seconds.
Oh,
I kind of want to throw this up again, but I think you're right. I don't know why. I really feel like you're right. And I know it's 100% with Miami. He was drafted by Miami.
Yeah,
they didn't trade him for 4 picks. Charlotte offered him 4 picks, and they never did that.
And I'm pretty sure Luke Kennard was drafted by the Clippers. And he's still there, I think.
No, Kennard was drafted by the Pistons. He got traded to the Clippers.
Okay,
he was on the Grizz and he was on the Clippers
now.
for a little bit.
He's on the Clippers.
But Kennard was never on the Heat. I'm 100% about that. I don't think it's any of the Heat step guys. Like Max Strus wasn't there. No. Duncan Robinson, I don't think was there.
No, Oladipo.
We already
Kyle
used
Lowry.
Oladipo, there.
Like Kyle Lowry never was there.
I don't think Eric Gordon. Ray Allen was never on the Heat. Was he?
Ray Allen never. Who? Eric Gordon.
Yeah,
Eric Gordon. I don't think so.
I don't think he was either. Ray Allen definitely wasn't.
Norris Cole.
The only other one I can maybe think of is PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker was definitely on the Heat. I don't think PJ was ever on the Clippers though. Like I'm trying to think. He was on the Heat. He was on the Suns.
No, but what's his name?
He was on the Raptors.
What about what's his name, who was definitely on the Clippers? He's on the Lakers now. What's his name? Essentially PJ Tucker in my mind, but like the guy. Um, oh my God, why can't I think of his name?
Oh, wait a minute. Yo, I don't know if this is who you're thinking about, but was Markieff Morris ever on
A
the
Morris
Clippers?
brother.
Marcus is for sure.
I don't
One of them,
know.
Keith was on the Heat because he got that hit from Jokic that I always remember.
Yeah. Did the brothers played together, but wasn't that in
That
Phoenix?
was in Phoenix. Yeah, they got drafted
Yeah.
together in Phoenix. Marcus is on the Clippers.
Oh,
I'm saying all this to say that I think Justice Winslow might be the answer. I
wait.
really don't have a better one. And when I don't have a better one, I go with my obscure guys. But my obscure guys, my go-tos here, like the Ish Smiths of the world. I don't have one better, Justin. I that one, like, I don't know why. I just feel like he was there in a trade somehow. And I can't get there, but we know he was 100% of Miami, and I'm telling you, I don't have a better answer. I'm not confident enough in Mike Miller. I don't think like Brad Miller was there. Shaq was never on the Clippers.
Oh man. All right. So are we doing it then? Are we just going are we going Justice Winslow on this thing?
I'm more nervous about this, I think, than I was with Alfred last week. Like,
Oh
I,
man.
I don't want to lose. I don't want to. We're so close to back to backs, and but you know what? You got to think positive, and
I
so
was
I'm
trying
going
to
to think
think of the guy.
positive.
I'm trying to think of the person that he's like a pest on defense. Everyone hates him. He has a podcast.
Oh, Pat Bev.
Pat Bev. Did he ever end up with the Heat?
Oh man, that's a good. I don't think he was on the Heat. I feel like I would have remembered that.
Yeah, I don't think
Pat
he
Bev
was.
is a Heat player.
That's what I mean. That's why, like, I think I just assumed he
I
was,
don't
but
I don't think he was though. Like I don't remember him playing on the Heat because he wasn't in the Big Three era.
should we just go Justice Winslow? Should we just do it? Should we just do it? Oh,
We're about to risk it on Justice Winslow, but you know what? I'm here. I'm here. We got to move on at some point. We're 22 minutes into this.
oh,
You know
just
what?
JST. How does he spell it?
Is it J
WINDS.
or no? Just do WINS.
Oh, there he is. He's still in the
Okay.
league. 2023.
I mean, it might have been like I don't know if he just flamed out. He got hurt a lot too.
Should we do it?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Ah!
Yes.
Yeah! That was so much stress for it being the correct answer. Holy moly.
I still don't know when he was on the Clippers, but I don't know what it was. But as soon as you said that, I felt good about it. The Heat don't have that many with 5 assists in the
Right? You
season
saw
game.
that?
Wow.
You
I mean, we
saw
probably
that?
named 3 of them. If we got Dragic and Wade and LeBron, I did check Wade and LeBron. They both would have worked for Miami.
Players that played for the Miami Heat and the Clippers, Brent Barry, Avery Bradley,
Okay.
Caron Butler,
Caron Butler's a good. Oh, that's a good one. Caron Butler was in the league for a while.
Lamar
Oh, yeah, we
Odom's a
should have
good
Lamar
one.
Odom too. That's crazy. I forgot he was on the Heat.
Justice Winslow. Yeah, there you go. He played for the Clippers in 2022, 37 games.
Wow. Okay. Shout out to Justice Winslow.
Holy
That is
moly.
crazy. The Hornets are going to trade 4 picks for him. What a just end up being a good decision by them.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
a
say.
rare Miami draft miss.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm surprised at how few, like you said, the Heat, how few 5+ assist game seasons they've had out of people.
Yeah, only 14.
Like if you told me out of the Heat, Pelicans, and Wizards, the Wizards would have the most 5+ assist game seasons?
Yeah, but so here's the thing though. The Pels and the Heat are newer franchises.
You're right.
Like,
You're right.
but you're right. I mean, because the Wizards, I mean, they haven't really been that good recently, but they've had guys that have been good enough to have 5. I mean, 5 a game is not a ton, especially if you're a starting point guard.
Yeah.
But maybe it is. I mean, D Wade, the top answer there for Heat at 5. So it would have been that. Pelicans or Drew Holiday. Yeah, that's another good
Oladipo. Did
one.
we do Oladipo? We did do
We
Oladipo
did.
for that one.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
The only
Chris
top answers we had
Paul,
were
Pelicans. Okay.
Oh yeah, Pelicans and Clippers. Oh yeah, that's a super obvious one.
Oh,
Yeah,
Drew
Lamar
Holiday.
Odom in hindsight for sure.
It's wild that Drew Holiday is the most common answer for Pelicans +5. Like, I would think it would be Elfrid Payton, but
yeah, no, he really just can't believe forget about Drew Holiday locking down Damian Lillard for an entire series. Just, Alfred's tenure, baby. We're here. Welcome everybody to the Driving Dish NBA podcast. My name is Kevin Rayfuse. Joining me as always, my co-host Justin Kuzart.
I did not grab a tweet. I was too
That's fine. You grabbed Justice Winslow out of the air. So
I was too I didn't really grab him. I just named him as a player on the Heat that we saw at Summer League once.
Hey, sometimes listen, that's all it takes sometimes.
What was our score?
I mean, that's how it was Oladipo. 241.
241. Wow. Okay. Interesting. So wow. We did pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Elfrid Payton was 0.08. What were our other lows here? Can you go back to ours for a sec?
Yeah, 0.08.
Yeah, so that was the
Dragic.
Justice Winslow in the corner.
Wow.
Dragic at 8%. Redick at 17 surprised me. The rest of them kind of chalky.
Well,
I mean, Brad Beal was at 22% for the 5 assists. Oladipo was 33%, but that was the most. So was Wall. So was Westbrook. So either way, wow, well done. That was definitely harder than some of the others we've done recently. So that was good on us to clutch that out.
Other players we could have did for the Pelicans Clippers connection: Al-Farouq Aminu.
Yep.
Brandon Bass, Eric Bledsoe, Darren Collison, DeMarcus Cousins did work. We would have had it.
Oh, okay. I did not know Boogie was on the Clippers.
He played in 2021 for 16 games. I bet that rarity score would have been crazy. Baron Davis, James Ennis III, Eric Gordon would have worked.
Baron Davis did work. That is one I thought about a little bit later.
Josh Hart, Wesley Johnson, JJ Redick, Chris Paul, Chris Kaman.
Yeah, Chris Kaman had a few good years in the 2000s.
Rajon Rondo. That's another player we got to think about more. Rondo probably worked for a ton. Lance Stevenson. Wow. Garrett Temple. Sedarius Thornwell. I think Thornwell was another one of those players that we saw at Summer League.
He might have been. That sounds right.
2018, 2019 was when he was on the Clippers. I don't know.
The best player we probably saw in person at Summer League in hindsight, I guess it was Tatum, right? It was Tatum.
Play. I mean, we saw Durant in a boot sitting.
Yes.
Porzingis too.
Yeah, Durant and Porzingis were there, but they weren't playing. Playing-wise, I mean, it was Bam obviously has panned out quite well.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of other guys who have had long pro careers, like you mentioned Kennard, you mentioned Malik Monk, but we don't need to reminisce about that. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. We will read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn. Actually, Spreaker died. That's right. RIP Spreaker. Or no, Spreaker did not die. Just kidding. I'm thinking about Stitcher. Never mind. I'm getting my podcast services.
Spreaker
is very much alive, and they host our podcast. So yeah, never mind. Spreaker is very much alive, and big shout out to Spreaker for hosting us.
And
Stitcher has passed on, but go to Spreaker if you want to.
And the show has now been deleted by Spreaker.
RSS feed just completely down the toilet. Any Refund podcast, you can find us.
And like we said, we are on YouTube. You can find us there. Just search Driving Dish NBA. You can watch a video version of us trying to guess those players, and obviously a video version of the rest of the podcast, and get notified when another episode is coming out. We're looking for subscriber number 63. If you would like to be that, just go to YouTube, search Drive and Dish NBA.
And now a word from our sponsors.
So a little update on FIBA basketball, because I think we talked FIBA last time, but since then, the U.S. has beaten New Zealand and Jordan. They lost to Lithuania this weekend, which I watched. What's with having to come back from all the double-digit deficits? Slow starts from the USA. And it's interesting because it seems like one player will be on and then off. Like Anthony Edwards had a good game against Lithuania, but then the next game dropped like 3 points. It's kind of a committee thing, which I'm sure is part of it. But it kind of seems like, some people are hot and then some people are cold, and they're not necessarily on the same page of when they're going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, to put it bluntly, whatever Steve Kerr said to them after the loss to Lithuania paid off today against Italy. Because if
Well,
nothing else, I just thought the intensity was way better. I mean, and
mhm.
part of it is making shots. I mean, that's the reality too. Is they just didn't play that great against Lithuania. Like it is a game of putting the ball in the
And
basket. But no,
Lithuania, by the way, hit, like, every 3. Like, I'm pretty sure they didn't miss one until, like, almost halftime. Like,
Yeah,
they
I
were
mean,
just
it
on
was a
fire.
combo. It was a bunch of hot shooting. Monty Eunice, who was a fun name to say on this podcast for a long time, a few good years in Houston. Really, like you said, he was one of those guys who went off for Lithuania. I mean, the other thing is something that we talked about a little bit, kind of in the tune-ups and even in the win against New Zealand a little bit, where they're in like they were kind of getting bullied in the interior a little bit. Like Jaren Jackson was doing a good job, but that's pretty much it. Like they were getting killed on the boards. And I thought Lithuania, I mean, obviously they've got a quality NBA big with Valanciunas playing for them. So, I mean, he got Jackson in kind of trouble early, and I
Yeah,
think that helped too. But that is an area where you can really exploit this roster. I mean, I think we saw a lot of the US early on just kind of exploiting their superior athleticism. And look, that works against bad teams. You can get away with that for so long, but you're going to have to make shots, and they had to play better defense. And so, at least by the effort, I'm encouraged about Italy. Their win over Italy, I should say. But yeah, I mean, this is not the walk in the park guaranteed gold medal. Like you kind of knew that with this roster, but the international competition is real. Like Lithuania is one of the teams that we expected to be kind of bouncing around here, but there's a few others. Like the US is going to have to go through 2-3 quality opponents before, if they're going to win this gold medal. Like you can't
yeah,
fall asleep at the wheel here.
yeah, and so, it was fun. Obviously, the you brought up Italy and, the booing of Paulo Banchero and the comments that were made, him choosing to play for the US over their team, which was, fun little trash talking back and forth, but I'm sure they actually were pissed about it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, just anything you need to get going, whatever it
Yeah,
takes, motivation wise, and of course that one, like you said, a little more personal because yeah, I'm sure Team Italy would love a guy like Paulo Banchero playing there right now. It's kind of hard to blame them there.
yeah.
Speaking of Lithuania, Lithuania is out. Serbia beat them in the other quarterfinal game today. Um, as we're recording this on Tuesday, September 5th. But so I mean, hey, at least there, you won't have to worry about that again. But yeah, like we said, quarterfinals bound for the USA. Any other highlights in terms of the tournament? Congrats to Canada. Canada qualified for the Olympics, so that's the first time. I think it's been like 54 years or something.
Wow,
I believe I saw since
wow.
Canada's made the Olympics. Um,
That's pretty crazy. I mean, I know, like, some of the players in general on the US team, that have been highlighted, like Austin Reeves has been brought up a lot. I think Halliburton's been brought up a lot in general throughout the game. So it's, like those kind of experiences, which I'm excited for those guys to have, which is kind of what we already alluded to before it even started. We're just excited to see the younger guys get the experience and who's going to shine through. Like Bridges had a big game, right? It's good seeing these guys step up and take the leadership role and run with it a little bit.
Yeah, Bridges hit everything in the first half. I mean, against Italy, that was the biggest thing. I thought he really did a good job of setting the tone there. Obviously, he's been phenomenal defensively. And yeah, now we'll wait. Coming up tomorrow, we got Germany and Latvia in if somebody wants to get up East Coast time, 4:45 a.m. tip off, but
Holy
you got that.
moly.
Yeah, holy moly. But then the game that is going to be a really fun watch actually is Canada and Slovenia. So obviously you got Luca going against a super motivated Canadian team. Like we said, they're showing out, really, coming off the high of getting back in the Olympics. That was kind of the goal of this team. I know Shea Gilgeous-Alexander on Instagram had a whole big caption about how much it meant to him and how
Yeah.
excited he was. So, they're qualified to Paris. US is qualified there as well. I don't think anyone was really worried about that, but it is just worth noting at least.
Yeah, and so then the other thing we wanted to talk about, there were some transaction stuff, but before we do that, some things looking forward to the season starting is, what are the big questions, the big overlying storyline questions that'll happen this season as we are a month out from training camp. And really, I could only think of like two. It's like, who's gonna be good enough to knock off the Nuggets? Like, who's gotten to that level, who's gotten to their level, and who's gonna be traded between Dame and Harden, and are they gonna be traded? Really, those feel like the two big storylines right now. I'm sure there's more storylines team by team basis, but those feel like the overarching, like, national narrative questions right now.
Yeah, I mean, transaction wise, it certainly does feel like everything is done except for Dame. Like Dame will be the next best player to get traded. Harden is another domino to fall, but Damian Lillard in 2023 is a better player at this
Yeah,
point. And then I think, I mean, because that in terms of the Eastern Conference, if he does end up going to Miami, like that's a massive earth-shattering shakeup for that conference. Then
yeah,
you do look at, yeah, they could absolutely get back to the finals and maybe win it. Are they there right now as currently constructed? I mean, I would never put anything past them after last year, but that's a tough ask again if they're going to be an 8 seed. And a lot of their guys are getting older.
yeah.
So we'll see if they decide to shake it up there. I mean, yeah, in terms of, I guess it is in when Denver versus the field, because Denver is going to be, I don't want to say a heavy favorite to repeat, but they're definitely going to be one of the top contenders, no doubt about it. I think the only reason I hesitate to call them a heavy favorite is just because I think the Western Conference is still really good at the top. Like I think
Yeah.
the Lakers are still going to be really good pending health. You've got Phoenix, who's got Bradley Beal now. There should be just internal natural improvement in other places. The Warriors are always lingering. Memphis kind of, hopefully maybe if they have a, kind of an off season to reflect, maybe they come back stronger. So there's a lot
The
of
Kings, the Kings, don't slight our Kings.
we're gonna talk about the Kings a little bit later because I really like the Kings off season. We're gonna talk about JaVale McGee in a little bit, so
Mhm.
don't take that as a slight. But yeah, I mean the conference, the Clippers, assuming health, should be right back there. I mean that's always the big question with them, of course. But yeah, I mean when I look at it right now, off the top, Denver, the Lakers, and the Suns seem to be the top three to beat in that conference. Maybe if you want to put the Warriors there as well, you got them kind of in that 4 slot. Um, but yeah, I mean, Denver's in a prime position to repeat. I mean, their biggest loss by far is Bruce Brown. But it feels like they've got a little bit of in-house personnel to replace that. So see Christian Brown does. I think he'll get a heavy dose of minutes. I mean, obviously he played great for them in the finals last year. So
Mhm, mhm.
um, in terms of, and then yeah, for the East, in terms of who might beat them, I mean, Boston probably contender wise has the most interesting watch just because they have turned over their personnel quite a bit. Keeping Jaylen Brown in the fold and getting that settled is a huge deal for them. But you got Porzingis, you've got Marcus Smart out, you've got Grant Williams out. So I think that's the biggest question for them is like, what does that locker room look like? Like that's
Right.
been a big part of their culture. The other sleeper Eastern Conference story, I guess, as I have one, are the two big, you mentioned Damon, you mentioned Harden. The other two to watch, one is not that surprising, and that's Embiid. I think Embiid
Yeah.
is you got to watch all season. Like if it goes bad for the Sixers, he could ask out as soon as the All-Star break. I don't think he's going to. I think realistically, we're talking about end of the season, maybe the middle of next year, depending how the playoffs go, before anything gets quite that drastic. But that's something to monitor. The other one, too, to monitor is Giannis. Giannis in that interview was very
Mm.
non-committal to the future of Milwaukee again. And that is a roster that's getting older with Drew Holiday, with Chris Middleton, with Brooke Lopez. Like that is an aging core. It's certainly started to feel like real quick because they have contract decisions coming up. I know they brought Middleton back, they brought Lopez back, but yeah, it feels like not quite do or die, but it feels like this may be Milwaukee's last chance to run it back as we've currently seen it as pretty much the title version. And part of this, you knew what happened. It's tough. When Milwaukee went all in for Drew Holiday, they did. They burnt the war chest. Like that was 4 first-round picks for Drew Holiday. Like that's how you maneuver as a contender sometimes. Now, let me say, I say all that to say you will never call that trade a failure ever. They won the
No,
title. As
you
soon as you
won.
win the title, it's
Yeah.
all worth it in my eye. I mean, Milwaukee hadn't won a title as a franchise since the 70s with Kareem. Kareem was still Lou Alcindor back when they won the title. Like you absolutely take that 100% of the time. But yeah, I think there is a sneaky Giannis watch going on, and I think it got extinguished a little bit, obviously, with him extending the big contract and certainly winning the title. I think the Bucks maybe felt the urgency a little bit as well. I mean, moving on from Budenholzer, that's quite a big change there, and it's tough to move on from a coach that's won a championship. But, yeah, I I think that's a sneaky honest watch. Forgive me, I lost my train of thought there for a second, but I would keep an eye on him. I don't know if there's any favorite right now, but if he naturally gets into free agency, if Milwaukee's starting to seem like they're kind of plateauing in the second round, if they can't get back to the finals, I mean, they have not been back to the finals since they won it. You're going to need to see those results coming, because Giannis is one of those guys who, by all indications, it seems like he values winning the most.
Yep. And he knew what he was doing, obviously, making those comments, or not making comments about certain things. So, like, he knew what he was doing. It was strategic in terms of, at least letting a lot of people know, like, look, we gotta do something here. We gotta make a last run at it, or make some changes. And so, yeah, you're right. I mean, that could be added to the potential watch. I just think the Embiid, the Antetokounmpo thing, like, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna be maybe next off season, or not as much this season. But we'll see. I mean,
I
it could get uglier this season, but I don't think it comes to a head until next season, if
Yeah, I
any.
think it would have to get really bad to me for it
Mhm.
to go bad this season. And, like, I don't know what that looks like.
And I
Harden's
don't think that
obviously
happens, right. I don't think that happens for Milwaukee. I think Sixers have a better chance for that to go bad if Harden's, doing his thing.
yeah, Milwaukee's going bad would be them losing early in the playoffs. Like,
Right.
that's when I think you start to reevaluate some things and go, "Hey, is this core good enough to get back to the promised land?" Like,
Right.
I would run it back, obviously. Like, I do think Milwaukee should run it back this year and try one more time. Like, I think you have to think long and hard before blowing up a core like that. But yeah, I mean, that is true. I mean, I think, for all the flack Boston gets, because Boston hasn't won a title, like, it does feel like they're further than Milwaukee is quite a bit. But Milwaukee's also got that ring, so that's the thing. And at the end of the day, that is all that matters. Um, a little bit of, or two quick transactions before we get out of here. We alluded to one a little bit earlier. Javale Mcgee signing a 1-year deal to go back with the Kings. A little bit of a homecoming for the McGee family. His mom was drafted by the Sacramento Monarchs, WNBA team out there. So definitely a little cool there.
That's cool.
But I like this pickup a lot. I mean, you talk about the Kings, like, it's a 1-year, like, vet minimum type deal. JaVale's played in a ton of big games over his career. He's that solid veteran backup presence that can, kind of give, can play quality minutes when Sabonis needs a break. He kind of can get in there and I don't want to say play that tough guy role. Like, that's not what he's known for, but, like, he's a very serviceable big body, and he can run the floor. Like, I think he's going to bring a lot of energy. He crashes the boards, like, he gets back and hustles. Like, that's what his bread and butter has kind of been in the course of the league. And so, yeah, I want a 1-year deal. I love this pickup for Sacramento. I think that's exactly, and it rounds off a pretty good off season for them. I mean, bringing Harrison Barnes back, I like the moves generally Beam team has made. And I do. I think it's going to allow, as long as Fox and Monk are still your guys. And I mean, you could expect Keegan Murray to get better too, hopefully in year 2. Then, yeah, I think we should, I think it was a good offseason for the Kings overall, I guess is my point.
Yeah, well, McGee's gonna have to be able to run. I mean, Sacramento, one of the faster paced teams in the league, as I pull it up there, in the top half. They're 12th right now in terms of pace from last year. So, he's gonna be having to run a little bit. But I like the bring him in. You don't need to ask too much out of him, right? But there to be
Yeah.
a veteran presence for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and then you brought in Nerlens Noel too, who kind of plays that, like, he's that same, similar type of player. I'm interested to see who is kind of more of their primary backup big there. I still like the Duarte pickup too. They picked up Chris Duarte from Indiana earlier this
Mhm.
offseason. I thought that, he showed a lot of flashes, in my opinion, his rookie year. So I think that's the good kind of, low cost, high flyer upside, if you will, that Sacramento needs to take. The other move was PJ Washington going back to the Hornets on a 3-year, 48 million dollar deal. Stay in Charlotte, and I mean, look, I think this is kind of fair for both parties, right? Like, I think that's, maybe it's a slight overpay for Charlotte, but that's the type of player that Charlotte needs to keep around. Like, he's a homegrown guy. He's shown flashes there, and you want to reward them and bring them back. Like, he's a restricted free agent. I don't think he's going to lose any value. I mean, he's 25 years old. So, yeah, I mean, I think he was a fun fact. He was also the final unsigned restricted free agent this summer. Shout out to ESPN for that. I didn't know that.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, career highs in points, 3-pointers last year. I think you bring him back. The upside is still there. Again, he's 25 years old. In theory, he's going to be in his prime. And these are these are the type of players that Charlotte needs to bring back, right? Like when you talk about guys they need to keep and just not let walk out the door, which they've had a tendency of sometimes, then yeah, I'm keeping PJ Washington on a fair deal.
Well, and he said he wanted to always stay in Charlotte, and so, obviously making that happen, although I saw that, their GM said he wasn't so sure about that, in the press conference for him, so which that's kinda funny, poking fun at each other, but, yeah, I mean, obviously bring him back and keep the homegrown guy there and let him continue to grow with the team as they develop more and more, for the Hornets.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's fair offer all around. Like I think in terms of the market, it's good. I mean, yeah, maybe there was. I mean, these negotiations went on for quite a while, obviously. So maybe it did end up coming down to that. But regardless, either way, good signing for Charlotte. Somebody that I think they need to bring back in the fold, and if nothing else, can be a part of a greater trade package. But you would imagine that the Hornets hopefully have bigger plans for him, like you envision him as part of what you're building there down in the Queen City. Thank you everybody for listening to this episode of the Driving Dish NBA podcast. Appreciate you guys as always. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. We'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, anywhere you can find a podcast, Spreaker, Spotify. Hey, I'll say Spreaker again one more time. Amazon Music, tune in, anywhere you find us.
And we are on YouTube. Just search Driving Dish NBA.